Hi, and welcome to Sacred Foundations. This is our May 2022 reading where we pull the cards at the first of the month and just give an overall reading for the energies. I'm Julia Frainer with my very best friend and sister, Jill Chesrow. How are you, Jill?
I'm taking it back now because you said we were one of your best friends. So anyway, I'm blushing. So hello, everybody. Welcome to May. These are some very interesting times. Not always easy for sure, but Julia and I both give thanks to the people that show up and share the sacred space with us as we develop and deepen our sacred foundations. So just a reminder to those who have been with us for a little bit or to those that are new, every month we pull 5 cards using the Cross of Truth spread. And the overall intention behind the reading is, what information is most beneficial for us to be aware of for the month of May 2022 in this case, that will help us develop and or deepen our sacred foundations. The purpose of developing this sacred foundation is to help us navigate our lives with as much ease and grace, as possible. Doesn't mean everything's going to be perfectly easy, but it helps us be present and aware of what's available to us this month. Sound good, Jules?
Sounds great. And are we ready to just dive right into this beautiful reading?
Yeah, just so in 1 second, I'm going to screen share with you. Julia is going to give her interpretation first, then I'll share what I see. And oftentimes there's a little bit of overlap, but it also comes from different intuitive perspectives. So take what resonates with you and let the rest go. The other thing I want to mention is, it would be great if you had a journal down or with you, some pen and paper, and you could kind of see when you see the card what illuminates for you, what colors are you drawn to, what images or words on the cards stand out for you, or any words that Julia and I say, if anything stands out for you. If you jot that down in your journal and reflect on it throughout the month, that can be very beneficial. So all right, fingers crossed I could screen share properly.
You got this.
All right. All right. What do you see?
Yeah, I think that's incredibly powerful what Jill just added. It is so important for you to take that pause right now and just look at the cards. It's always underthink it. The thing that pops out to you is the most important thing. And I also love that she brought up any words that I might say or Jill might say. And it's a word that you're just like, I've been hearing that lately, or it resonates really strongly. Or if it kind of makes you go, ooh, that's kind of pushing me to the edge a little bit. Write those words down. You can come back to it between now and the time that we do the meditation, or after the meditation too, when we do that mid-month, and just really start to put this together for you. One of the things that Jill and I had spoken about earlier was that I believe, and I think Jill does too, that we each have within us everything we need to navigate the waters of the world today, of our life. Everything that we need in this lifetime, we have within us. Sometimes we just need that little nudge. We need to hear that word. We need to remember the synchronicities in our life. Remember the power of our spirituality. So, having said that, this card reading for me, the thing that's really coming in strongly is autonomy and personal sovereignty. And so the first card is the present card, and that is the unfolding. And this card is reminding us to dance and to celebrate. Things can be a little wonky in the world right now, or in your personal life. And we're reminded that it's okay to move, to dance, to be in flow with what's happening, not to always jump in and judge it, allow it to dictate for us, but sometimes to breathe and have fun, celebrate, recreate those mini celebrations, have an end of the day ritual for yourself, be it just a warm bath, lighting a candle, saying a prayer, reading a chapter in an inspirational book, reading a chapter in a trashy novel, whatever it is for you, honor those moments of ritual, honor those needs to come back to that unfolding of who you are. Remembering you are a unique, autonomous being, and claim your personal sovereignty. It doesn't mean to be unkind or not to be a decent human being by any means, but it does say you are you and you get to be you. And we're free to be that. And also in the unfolding, it asks us to set it down. What's the burden that you've been carrying? Set it down. You can choose to pick it up later, but in the moment, in this moment, you can set down the burden and dance freely. Spread your wings, light off your fireworks, whatever it is, to be in this present moment. Do it freely and unburdened. You'll find that unshackling is a wonderful, and that simple, just placing it down. The number 2 card is our desires, hopes, dreams, and that's in the lightest dark. And this card is incredibly beautiful. And in our hopes, our desires, our dreams, to me, it asks us to go deeper every now and then, go deeper. Where the first card is like, let's dance and let's celebrate and let's just unfold, let's set the burden down. There are times also that the burden keeps coming in, whether we pick it up or not. That thing keeps coming back. And that's an invitation to dive deep, to do some spelunking within your own soul, within your own heart, and begin to gold mine those beautiful nuggets that are deep inside the challenge, the hurt, the darker parts of us, going into the dungeons, into the places that are asking us to excavate, to clear, to come back and visit, to shine the light on. And when we do that, we're going to see that what we think is our desire and hope is really like, oh, that's what I really desire. There's the shimmering nuggets deep inside of me, inside that painful moment or inside that thing that I just kind of kept packing down. We go in there and we find the treasures that are laying within. And then our desires and our hopes become so much bigger than we even dreamed possible. I think I mixed these up here. The helpful energy card, right, Jill? I had my cards moved, is the eternal moon. Is that correct?
That is correct.
The helpful energy card. I love this. We just came out of a new moon, and this card is about a new moon, but it's the eternal moon. So the first thing that's coming to me is it doesn't matter what phase you're in, you're always whole and complete as you are, regardless of the phase. The moon is always whole and complete, whether she be blacked out or she be shining bright. And we're also in eclipse season. And eclipse season is, it happens a couple of times a year, and it's based around where the moon and the sun are in position with our north and south nodes. So I won't go into a lot about the nodes, but they are points. They're not actual planetary things. They're just points on the moon. And it's thought of that the south node is what you came into this life with, and the north node is the direction you're going. So if you're looking at the helpful energy around this, and this card being the eternal moon, I invite you to know what sign your moon is in or was in at your birth. In your natal chart, you can find that, and also find where your nodes were at. The moon goes through all the signs of the zodiac. So you come into your moon return every month. So every 28, 29 days, the moon goes through all the zodiac signs. And I think that this helpful energy is inviting us to become a little bit more in the know of our moon sign. It's the deeper part of us, kind of slips back to into the darkest light. Start shining some light into that part of you. you have questions, you can always reach out to Jill or myself. We both, she's very knowledgeable. I have some knowledge when it comes to our natal chart. We'd be happy to share that. And there's a lot of other individuals out there that you could do some research with if we don't resonate with you, but we'd love to work with you. The obstacle card is you are enough. And how that comes in, and I can speak for myself really powerfully with this card right now, and this being the obstacle in this reading. And maybe it will resonate with someone else too. Right now, with so many energies happening here on planet Earth, outside planet Earth, galactically, earthly, individuals, you could have a lot of energy swirling in your home right now. I think that a lot of us, our nervous system is on edge, wondering when the next thing is. My area, there's a lot of inflation and fuel prices are really high, and that makes me a little nervous. When I start to slip back to what I call my defaults, I begin to think I am not enough, or I'm too much, or how am I going to do this? I come into my scarcity, I come into my fears, I come into that not enoughness, and that becomes my obstacle. That's always in my way. And I have to kind of elevate myself above that and remember I am a true divine being of God, Goddess, Source, Universe, whatever you resonate with, you are a daughter of that, and or a son of that, as I am. And I have to remind myself that I come from a space of unconditional love, and I hold that in my heart. In my heart is where that divine, unconditional, brilliant light shines. And when I forget that, that becomes the obstacle for me. And the outcome in all of this is true connection. That's the fifth card, the connection. And just like the trees, this reminds me of birch trees. Their networking down below, the rooted systems, asks us to go deep into Mama Earth, connect deep with her. In the underground is where we find our connections with many of our earth totems, our animal totems, mineral totems, also with our ancestors. And coming into connection with that, and then as you rise up, coming in connection with your family, with the other beings that are on this earth, the people in your life. And then as branches and leaves come up and they're in full on this northern hemisphere, I'm looking out and it's all lush and green. There's so much abundance, so much to connect with. It's just that wonderful, the image that I get is where you just fall back into a beautiful soft blanket or into the arms of people who really love and want to hold you. When I do my grounding practices, coming into connection with Mama Earth and knowing that she's got my back. These are the kinds of connections that we're seeking. And the energies of this reading and these cards just says that if we can get there, it becomes true, pure, wonderful, delightful, honest connections. And it ties back around to what are we really setting down, surrendering to. Because there may be connections that are holding you back and you're ready to soar and you have to set those down. So the true beautiful connections is the outcome of this month's reading to me. Thank you. Jill, what do you got?
I love you so much. That was beautiful, Julia. Thank you. So I want to invite people watching this video right now to go ahead and pause the video at this point, if that feels correct for you, and just kind of reflect on what Julia just said and how it resonated with you, because that was awesome, Julia. I mean, I always love your readings, but I really feel like you just entered a zone there. So that was very cool. For those that are newer to card readings and maybe are just starting to read your own cards or have been doing it for a while, you know, this won't be as relevant to you, but as a reminder for people that maybe are not as familiar with reading cards, the cards talk to you. And I remember when people would say, just listen to the cards, you know, when I was first starting to do card readings, or like, just listen, they will talk to you. And I'd be like, what are you talking about? They're going to talk to me. I mean, I understood it on, you know, a symbolic level. And throughout the years, then the cards really did start talking to me. And there is an overall energy essence that these cards carry. Individual artists created these cards. These cards are from a collaborative deck, 2 different decks, Awakening to Your Divine Self and Priestesses of the New Earth. Some artists created in both the first deck and the second deck. But what happened was there was an overall intention for the deck of cards itself. Each artist brought through the sacred medicine that they carry and are here to express in this lifetime. They created an intuitive image, different levels of art skills. Some people are commissioned artists, some people are novice artists. So there was that. And then each artist brought through or collaborated with a friend or family member, and then they brought through a sacred message that goes with the card that they brought through. What Julia and I are doing here is we are giving the interpretation of what we intuitively feel. We're not including the artist's message. We also, you know, think that the artist's messages are very important. So if you're interested in the artist's message, you can reach out to us. But what I wanted to point out was these cards carry, it's an energy essence oracle card, meaning that even if none of the words that we say or none of the images or anything of these cards make sense to your conscious mind, on a subconscious level, these cards have and carry a frequency of sacred medicine that you need at this time. So just looking at the image before you, just allowing the frequencies to support you wherever you're at, you're going to get the message when it's time for you to get the message. I know that's a smidgen of a maybe seems off topic, but that's part of the message coming through right now, is to really allow yourself to feel the frequencies of what the cards have to offer you. So I am an energy healer, so I talk a lot about frequency. Julia is as well. So I'm going to talk about this reading a little bit differently. When we look at the card unfolding, right, there's that movement that Julia talked to, there's that flow. That to me is associated with the element of fire. So there's some action to this card. There's an illumination with those 3 different symbols there. I see body, mind, and spirit. So there is an illumination of a connection. I'm going to pull the last card into it, of the connecting of body, mind, and spirit for embodied wholeness in this lifetime. Sometimes we live our lives segmented. I've got my physical body, I've got my mental body, I've got, you know, my spiritual body. And sometimes we need to focus on one more than the other, but really it's an integrated whole, and we can connect and align these different parts of ourselves. So that is really a key energy that I'm seeing and feeling. So when we move to the next card, in the darkest light, when this card comes up, I often, you know, see there's the fire there with the candle with this illumination. Sometimes it's illuminating an unhealthy pattern. The card talks a little bit about codependency, a little bit about narcissism, being in a narcissistic relationship. Not, you know, not that means that it doesn't have a meaning outside of being in a narcissistic or codependent relationship, but are you burning your candles at both ends? Because the card represents hopes, and it also can represent fears or how you really feel about something. So if there's a part of you that's unfolding and ready to take action, and then there's this other part of you that is afraid or doesn't feel in alignment and doesn't feel ready, or somebody's not supporting you, diving in, Julia talked about your own sovereignty, and, you know, just really standing in your own personal power. What might be that, you know, what comes up for you there? Are you doing that? Not so much. Are you burning your candle at both ends? Is it interfering with the goals and dreams that you're having at this time? So really, that this card, is an invitation for deeper reflection in the darkest light. I'm going to also just share a little bit of a story about this card. So we had an editor that helped with this card. The editor came from an editor point of view. She shared with me that out of all of the cards in the deck, she resonated with them fully, except for this card. She said this card made her feel at uneasy. And, you know, she was being honest with me. And I said that I loved this card and that this card had a very deep, powerful message that would be very meaningful for some people. Because she almost was suggesting, and I may have misinterpreted her, but it almost seemed like she was asking that this card be taken out of this deck, which just did not resonate with me at all. And it wasn't until after the deck was actually created and the editor started working with the card deck in her personal practice. She said, Jill, that card keeps coming up for me. She said, and it has helped me look at areas of my life that I just wasn't looking at. And it became a deeply healing card for her, very transformational energy for her. And I just think that's such a beautiful story, because sometimes when we see a card or, you know, we see something that shows up in our life and we're just like, I don't want to look at that. Maybe that's appropriate, but sometimes there's an invitation to say, all right, well, you know, do a little bit of reflection on that. You know, what is it about the card or the energy or this situation that I don't want to look at? And, you know, can I get into a place where I feel safe enough to look at it or see why it might not be reacting? So I think that that's a huge message for some people that are listening to this. So that brings us to Eternal Moon. Julia, you talked about that card beautifully. The new beginnings. So we're unfolding, we're looking at, you know, where we might not be in alignment with our goals and our dreams. And then there's this new beginning energy. So no matter what's happened in the past or what is even happening right now, there is always, you can always change a thought, or you could always enter that new beginning energy is always available to us, especially in this month of May 2022, or whenever you're watching this reading. Julie and I both, Jules, correct me if I'm wrong, believe in divine timing. So if you're watching this May video in August, this message is the one that you needed to hear. So we just want to reaffirm that. So new beginning energy is beautiful, helpful energy. Then going to the you are enough. Yeah, absolutely. Obstacle energy. 9 out of 10 people struggle with being enough or feeling worthy and stuff like that. So that's really important. I want to point out the symbolism of the heart there, with the heart in the center card and then the heart in the obstacle energy. In body code, emotion code work, we talk about having a heart wall. So if you're not familiar with body code, emotion code, just kind of think about a wall around your heart. You created the wall around your heart, if you have one, for protection. You needed to, it served a purpose. And there comes a point in time when your heart is just expanding, just because we are beings of love and light, and our heart expands on our earth journey. But if that wall is there, our heart could only expand so much. So what served a purpose before is not serving a purpose now. So this could be an invitation to do some healing, whether it's forgiveness work, forgiveness of others, forgiveness of self, or just bringing down and letting go of that heart wall. That may be something that you want to reflect on and tune into your inner wisdom to say, is there any heart healing that needs to be done on a, mental, emotional level? Having said that, because we are talking about body, mind, and spirit, there are some people that may want to give a little bit more attention to their actual physical heart health. Is there, some suggestions that your physician told you to do, or that intuitively that you're supposed to be making? Do you need to clean up your diet a little bit? What is it that you can do to support your overall heart health? That's for some people. It's not going to be a message for everybody watching this, but pay attention to your heart health, whether it be, physical, mental, or emotional heart health. Okay, so then the connection cards, to me, I kind of weaved already into this, but having that deeper connection with your own inner wisdom, having that deeper connection to the divine, whatever that looks like for you, connection to supportive people in the physical world that will support you on your journey. So if there are people that are not supporting you, sometimes it's easier than others to just move away from those people. But if you can't do that in this instant, then connect with people that can support you at this time, whatever that looks like for you. So I know that was kind of a little all over the place, but I hope it made sense to somebody other than me, because this is a very, very powerful frequencies coming off of these cards. I probably also say that a lot. So Jules, any clarification you need on anything I said?
No, it was so perfect. So perfect. I do want to share that I think it's beautiful to have this kind of container for reading. And we just invite anyone who wants more, that would like to have two perspectives in a reading, because they work really as a whole. And I love how you brought up how we are holistic beings, physical, emotional, mental, energetically, and spiritually. And these readings are starting to, for me, I'm seeing them more and more weaving that holistic approach to who we are, to who our viewers are. And so I just, that invitation, if you feel like you want to work with two, we have an offering for that. We would love to sit with you if you're desiring of more. Jill, fabulous. Thank you so much for this reading. It was just like, oh, exactly what I needed.
I know, right? So this was great. Yours was what I needed. So, all right, everybody, thank you. We will come back together later in the month, and we will do Julia does an amazing intuitive meditation based on the frequency and of the cards and the message of the cards. And then while Julia is doing the meditation, I will be doing frequency work that helps support us collectively and individually. So it's like a free energy healing session and a free personal guided meditation. So how awesome is that? All right, everybody, we will see you. Let me stop our share so we could say goodbye and thank you to everyone. And we will see you later on this month.
Take good care.
Bye.